Hey, everybody, this is Monica, and I'm here today with Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, Monica. How are you?
Good. So we are on episode 2 and of divorce, and today we're going to talk about the stages of grief because once you make the decision, we're assuming you've made the decision now. Because before, if you haven't made the decision, you've gone and gotten help and therapy and whatever. But today we're on decision. We've made the decision. What are the stages?
What to expect?
What to expect? So, Jennifer,
Emotionally.
tell us what are the stages? Let's discuss them.
Well, actually, like you mentioned last week, Monica, divorce and the end of a relationship is similar as emotionally when we experience it is similar to the death of a person we love or a family member. So the stages of divorce
And the death
follow
of a
the
dream also,
common.
right? The death of a family, what you dreamt about your family was going to look like, mother, father, children. So it's a big transition.
Yeah, it's a very hard time. So it follows the common 5 stages of grief, which are the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and finally the acceptance. We're gonna
Go through
name
each one.
the initiator of divorce, the leaver, and the one being left, the levy, for the sake of this conversation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we know the difference.
Okay.
And it should be known that divorce affects people differently. And even the leaver of the relationship will pass through these stages. It doesn't mean if I took the decision to leave this relationship, it doesn't mean it's easy on me.
Of course
So
not.
they
And
pass
probably it's
also
built up
these
stuff
stages.
over the
Yes.
years that it took many years for that person to make that decision. I mean, not
Yeah.
everybody, some can leave it easily, but it does, a lot of people, it's taken years for them to make this decision. So they've kind of come to that conclusion before the other person. Okay, so
We should
number
know
one.
also, yeah, we should know also that grief is unique to each person, and we all grieve differently and mourn differently. So although we have named them in this specific order, it doesn't mean that we have to pass them in this specific order. But it helps a lot to know them because it won't make it easier, but it will make it more manageable. When we know, okay, I'm in denial, I'm in the anger phase. So it's nice, it's good to know them because then we can manage and understand our emotions better.
Okay.
So denial, especially for the spouse who is being left, is a very tough step. We often try to rationalize and say, oh, it's a midlife crisis, or they will change their mind, or as if nothing is past, nothing is happening. So we are in this denial phase where we think life is gonna continue normally in the same routine, in the same family, nuclear family dynamic. So we refuse to accept that the leaver is gonna file or is filing for divorce. We operate on autopilot. We pretend that everything is fine. We don't share even with our friend or family or support group because we think that it's a passing phase and that our spouse will change his mind.
I've been there. Okay. So I am smiling. Yeah.
How did it feel? Tell me, how was it? I know that you passed through a divorce
Yeah,
and
it
you
was
managed
very
to pass
difficult.
it beautifully. So would like to share with
Yeah,
people.
I was in denial for a very long time. I didn't think it would happen to me, and yeah, as you're saying, I ignored it. I went on as if nothing was happening, and yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult
It's a coping
to
mechanism.
it is.
It's like
And
we're
you
numbing
smile
our
more from in the outside, and you pretend everything is wonderful, because it's very difficult to accept sometimes, and it can last a long time, the denial.
And we can come back to a denial sometimes. But the majority of people that had the experience of divorce say that the cycling process gets easier and shorter as we move towards healing. So
Definitely.
do you agree?
Yes, I do. And there are phases in this that you're talking about I didn't go through, and maybe went through later, many years later. So denial,
So
I
it
went
was
through
a
at the
short
beginning.
period that you didn't really pinpoint or
Yeah.
see.
The next one that you're going to talk about, anger, I didn't go through. And I was surprised. I was expecting, but later on, the rage and the anger came a few years later. So it's not after 6 months, 1 year. It's a process of different things. So yeah, denial was a long one for me.
And anger is a sneaky emotion. It can come disguised as many other emotions or many characteristics. So it is a sneaky. So we may be angry and we
don't know it.
that.
And then if you're taught to be a good girl and anger is not a good thing, you are like,
Squash it.
No, you squash it, you squash it, you squash it, and then a balloon blows up one day, and you're like, yeah. So
And
denial
sometimes you
can
have so
last a
much
long time.
pride. Yes, you don't want to admit that you're angry or sad,
No,
even to yourself.
but what happens, you're poisoning your system inside, because you're not letting
Course.
that emotion come out.
Of course. So let's talk about anger.
Okay, yep, denial, we're good.
So when the numbness of the first stage, excuse my English, I always say excuse
Okay.
my English.
Don't worry, I might correct you to help
better.
you out if somebody did.
So when the numbness of the denial starts to wear off, we have anger usually. And anger is so strong that usually it masks all of other emotions. So we start to get angry, especially at the one filing for divorce usually. And then it's the phase where we hate him maybe the most or hate her the most. We blame them for everything, for our life's mistakes, for everything bad that is happening to us. He's the worst parent, lover, friend, and a human, forgetting that this is the person we chose.
That we married for all these years, yeah.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing now. A few years ago, I was crying, but this.
But that gives hope to our
but
friends.
You do,
and
no, there is hope, my friends. Trust me, there is hope, and you can rebuild in a better way. But yeah, the anger. So a few tips. Kickboxing. I did a lot of kickboxing when I was going through my divorce. I didn't know at the time, but
it's a beautiful outlet.
Oh my God, that
like
Bob, he's called Bob, I think he's called Bob, the one the statue that you beat the shit, sorry for the word shit, but you beat the shit out of the person. It is the best expression of releasing that
call
pent
him
up
as
anger.
your ex's name.
I would but it is the best, really. Hitting that punching bag releases that energy that's stuck inside. Instead of hurting someone in real life, you go in and you release it through.
I agree.
Through that, you can also release it through writing. Write whatever, dump everything on a paper and bin it. Also, art, journaling. Anything that takes it out of your system is the best. The line is cutting. Hello?